So this is another spouse spotlight for Hohenfels, and I have a military family here with me. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Everybody obviously probably already knows me. I'm Daniel. I'm a military content creator here in Germany, and yeah, I'm putting a spotlight on you guys. So can you I like to ask this question to everybody. Who are you? Who did you come here with, and what do you do?
My name is Hector, and
My name is Pauline.
we are originally from Southern California. We came to Germany in the fall of 2022 with our two older boys. They're teenagers, and then our two small pets.
Okay.
They're actually Shih Tzu dogs.
Oh,
And
okay.
what do I do? As little as possible.
Are you guys active duty? You guys civilian?
Active duty.
Civilian.
Okay, so Hohenfels is not the biggest base, but there's quite a few people over there in the Hohenfels area. You guys are pretty close to Grafenwehr and Vilseck, and I don't know too much about Hohenfels, so I'm leaning on you. I'm gonna just ask some like very high level questions. You know, if you guys want to get more into detail, that's on you. But I want to come from the perspective of like, look, I just got orders to Hohenfels. I know nothing about Germany. I know nothing about the area. What do I expect when I get there? What's it look like? How do I get around? Where do I fly into? Those types of things. So start with just like expectations. Like, where did you guys first fly into?
Well, first of all, if I can add that Hohenfels is actually approximately an hour or just over an hour's drive south from Vilseck and Graf. It's in Bavaria. And we took the rotor flight from Baltimore to Ramstein. And then we had our sponsors pick us up at the airport in Ramstein, which is approximately a 4-hour drive from Hohenfels.
Good.
And,
Good. You didn't take the bus ride.
We did not do the bus ride. There was he had a van that he was able to pick us up in.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I don't know if you heard that little tip from me, or your sponsor was just like a good sponsor and told you, hey, we'll come pick you up. But for all the folks listening out there, if you are flying in on the rotator and you are not stationed at Ramstein or around the KMC area, then you got to get on a bus, or you can have your sponsor pick you up, which I highly recommend. It is way more comfortable. It's not crowded. You don't have to put your dog back into a kennel and all that type of stuff. Do you guys come with pets? I missed that.
Yes, two small dogs.
Two small dogs.
Two Shih Tzus. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, if you can avoid that bus, avoid the bus if you can.
No, the other part is that it's direct, right? So it's not stopping at different bases. That's at least that's what I've heard, that it stops at different locations.
Yeah.
And so now your 4-hour bus ride takes 8 hours.
Which is exactly what you want when you get off an 8-hour plane, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. So good on you then. How was your sponsor situation? We can go into that a little bit. Was it good experience?
Sure, yeah. It was a good experience. It was pretty smooth. My sponsor and I have been in contact probably like a month prior to us coming out here, maybe even more. Yeah. We were corresponding, and then right before he came out here, he and his wife, they helped us out, and so they called us on Signal, and we were able to have a conversation with them, with my wife, and then the spouses were able to kind of meet like that, and then my wife was able to ask some of the questions and get some of her curiosity answered.
What were your biggest questions, Pauline?
My biggest questions, I am coming to Germany with 2 teenagers. So schools, how to get around, transportation. I knew we were just going to bring one car, how that was going to work, how the community is, our town that we were going to move in, because they did look into
that's a good point.
Three houses for us in 3 different towns. And they were so nice to check out the towns for us, and then still recommend the one they lived in, which is the one we live now.
It looks like you guys looks like you're in government housing right now. Is that correct?
Government housing off post, correct.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you're on post. Okay.
Off post.
Oh, off post.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys moved over here, were they doing the plane to pillow initiative, where your sponsor would show you 2 or 3 homes, and then you kind of pick one before you even arrive, and then they send you right into your home?
Yes.
That's exactly what happened.
How was that experience? Was that something you liked it or no?
I had a good experience because our sponsors were awesome. They had the very basic things for us to at least be in the house for like 3 days with food, towels, bedding. So that was great.
I'm willing to bet that our sponsors, no other sponsor in the future is going to live up to the sponsor that we had.
No, not at
I
all.
will put my paycheck on that.
Yeah. That's bad news for the folks watching, but you want, I mean, and that kind of sucks though, you know, like we laugh about it, but like I remember being a young lieutenant back in 2007 was my first duty station. I was a young lieutenant and I was overseas and I was in Japan and I had an amazing sponsor. But had I not had that good sponsor, like I had so many questions that just, you know, when you go overseas, you know, just for, this is a small example, like you as an American, you expect to have like tons of photos of your house and videos and a virtual tour of it. You know, when you move state to state, like this is what you expect. But when you come overseas, you have none of that. That doesn't exist over here. You know what I mean? And so, you know, you have no idea what to expect with regards to what do I bring into this home? You know, what's it going to look like? How big is it going to be? Like, what are these little German nuances about the home that I need to know about? You know, I didn't know any of that stuff as a young lieutenant, but my sponsor was able to explain a lot of this stuff to me. But if you don't have a really good sponsor that is willing to like talk to you about all the ins and outs, like you're kind of in the dark, you know, until you get there.
I was also going to add that it's kind of a responsibility on you to ask those questions, right? So when I requested for my sponsor to have a conversation with his wife and my wife involved, you know, I requested that because I wanted my wife to be able to ask some of the questions that, or maybe, you know, things that she felt would probably be not good for me to ask my sponsor being in the military, and then she can ask it and not feel judged, right? I guess what I'm saying is you have to take the onus to ask some of these questions and request some information, because sometimes your sponsor might have lived here for 3 years already, and so they don't know what's important to you. And so it's not that they're not good sponsors, they're just so jaded from a PCS out here.
How did you get your sponsor? I never asked that question.
It was unique for me because I'm an officer, so I had an interview for the position. So the person I interviewed with turned out to be my sponsor. And then he's like, hey, I need you to fill out the sponsor request form, blah, blah, blah. And then, but we basically did the work beforehand, and then I got the official sponsorship, if you will.
Yeah. So one thing I was going to say was it's important when you are going through the process of like letting your unit know which type of sponsor you need. Like you want it to be somebody that's relatively within the same rank as you, obviously that works in the same unit as you, maybe around the same, like a peer group, you know, the same peer as you. And then somebody that maybe like at the same sex as you, right? So that you can maybe or have a spouse that can speak to the wife about, you know, girl stuff that girls may want to ask each other, something like that. You know what I mean? Something that a dude probably wouldn't be the best resource for. So those are the things to keep in mind when you're coming over here looking for a sponsor.
Concur. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why I'm saying like sometimes getting your spouse involved and then you being proactive with asking some of these questions is important, because otherwise, you know, a sponsor might not know that this is important to you or your family.
Yeah, yeah. Or if you get somebody that's a single soldier and they know nothing about kids or pets, like you're gonna need someone that kind of understands that.
I have heard of a few of the spouses, they do get that experience where their sponsors are maybe months here before they come, so they haven't seen the area and their experience is not a great one for sure.
Yeah.
So it is very important. Yeah.
So you guys got here, you had a good sponsor. Let's kind of just go into like the basic information about the area. So like, what can people expect with regards to like the population in the area, whether it be military and or local nationals right outside the base, the terrain, we can kind of go into the weather, you know, just the basic bare bone minimum information about Hohenfels. Like what do they expect?
Well, Hohenfels is hilly, or around the area at least, it's definitely hilly. There's a lot of towns where Americans live. So you're going to have some pockets of Americans pretty much in the surrounding area. I would say the biggest town for Americans to live, or where Americans live, is Velberg. And then Parsberg is probably number 2.
Yeah.
We live near Parsberg, and we're pretty happy with that because there's actually a train station in Parsberg. So as far as commuting and getting around, it helps out. Now the weather,
I know that answer.
Summer is very short, 3 to 4 months. You get a lot of rain, you get windy, you get cold, and then you get the snow. So
I told people you're going to get all 4 seasons in Germany, sometimes in one day, you know?
Oh yeah.
And that's the truth, you know?
Yeah.
Like you may get overcast, cloudy rain in the morning. By the afternoon, it's sunny and cleared up, it could snow randomly throughout that time if it's, November, December time frame. Like you're going to get everything. That's something to really think about though when you're PCSing. What month are you going to actually arrive? And then when you arrive, you're going to be in your temporary lodging, let's say minimum a month, so you need to think about like what season is it going to be in when you actually get into your home and you get in temporary lodging. So those things you need to think about.
Especially if you have kids, you need to accommodate them, right? Because you're going to send them to school on consideration.
Population, how big is that area over there?
Well, where we live, the town, probably 1,000 people max. It's a very small town. There is a castle in the town, so that's that's really cool because from our room we can see the castle.
Oh, cool.
Most towns have a castle, so that's the cool thing about Germany. They say there's more castles in Germany than McDonald's in the US, I believe.
Is that right? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I heard something like that. I don't know. I haven't counted the McDonald's and I haven't counted the castles, but based on what I've seen, I believe it.
During COVID, I actually drove around that area. I was bored and I took out my drone and I realized that you can go to castles without being in a line or being around people and just be in nature around that area. Cause it is, like you said, there's a lot of hills, there's a lot of trees, it rains a lot. So it's very green, but I went around and I found over 30 castles within 1 hour of Graf. And a lot of those were in that Hohenfels area, so I drove around all those little mini towns and stuff and filmed some of those castles. There's quite a bit to see in that local area.
One other thing I was going to add about the terrain, especially in Bavaria, is there's a lot of farmland. So with the farmland comes a lot of tractors, right? And so sometimes you might get stuck behind these tractors and they don't drive that fast. And there's nothing they can do about it. It's part of the culture. It's part of the life. It's part of the economy here. And I would say to somebody is if you're behind them, have a little patience. You'll be stuck there for a little bit and then you make your way around or they turn, hopefully they turn. And then also there's certain times of the year where it'll smell like manure on your drive to work and back the whole way. So again, have a little patience. It'll be all right.
Yeah. Can you guys hear all of the explosions and stuff going on over there at that base too? Or is that? No? Okay. Just over here in Graf Vilsek. All right. As far as like the population, like where the Americans are at, outside the base, is it within like what, 30 minutes of the base, all those little cities? Like how far are people actually living? Can you live in Regensburg?
Yeah.
Some people live in Regensburg, yeah. I think most people have probably around a 15-minute drive. We have we have a 15-minute commute. Well, to the gate itself is like 10 minutes. Now to get to the office, probably another 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I think that's kind of standard.
Okay. And then I guess it's just up to availability on living off base, or is that due to rank? Like how did you guys get off base? Is that normal?
Yeah. I you know what? Honestly, I can't really tell you definitively. I think that's it's kind of normal.
Okay, so like enlisted or off base?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so much housing on post. It's not a lot. The base itself isn't big. The majority of the base is the training area, but the base itself is not big.
Okay, so then I guess they are encouraging people to live off base.
I think there's more opportunity outside.
Okay. And then if you're senior ranking, then there's an opportunity to rent privately. So it makes it a little more challenging as far as language barrier or kind of dealing with the Germans because they have different rules, right? Again, I can't specifically talk about an example because I don't have that, but I know sometimes like a lot of people, they do have, and by the way, the base does offer resources to help you with some of the translating paperwork and all that.
Yeah. I can speak just a little bit to that, like, because I've been here 10 years now and this is our third house that we've lived in. Yeah. And just a quick example, like one of the biggest things is like when you're on base, government housing, something goes wrong, housing is responsible for getting somebody to come over there and fix the problem, right?
Yeah.
As a renter, it's on the landlord, but then they don't have the pressure of the military pushing on the landlord. You know what I'm saying? Like
Correct.
It's on them to kind of figure out the time and who's going to come and when they're going to come. And then that language barrier issue with speaking with the landlord. So it kind of just all depends on who your landlord is and, how they want to work with you. You know what I mean?
I could share a little bit of that because we live in, what would it be called? Like duplexes?
It's 6 homes together.
Okay.
So two, but just straight ahead. And our house happens to be separated from all the rest. They all have the same meister, they call him, and ours is just one. So our person that is in charge of this house, he literally gave me his number. And he said, if you want to avoid Pauline going through the paperwork, the time, everything, give me a call. I come and I fix it right away.
Oh,
So we were lucky enough to do it that way.
Yeah, we've had two situations where we have called him.
Yeah.
And one of them was like on a Sunday. And I
He
called
did-
him on a Sunday, hoping like he'd be like, oh yeah, I'll be there tomorrow in the morning. Okay, cool, to coordinate that, right? No, he showed up that day.
Yeah.
And so he's been very receptive to us.
That's actually uncommon because now Sundays in Germany, they don't come out.
No,
Right.
no.
They
Yeah.
stay inside.
Yeah, so he's been wonderful for us.
So the government housing off base, and this is the situation over here. I'm assuming it's the same over there. The government housing off base, they kind of have the same style of German homes, concrete walls and the modern window shutters. You'll find a lot of that in German homes as well. And I'm curious how that transition has been moving into a German home off base.
Oh, that's a shock. That's a shock.
We've never had a door in the kitchen. We took that door off.
Yeah, you can lift those off. You can lift it's like a little wooden door. You can lift it off. Yeah.
Very easy to remove. We removed a lot of the doors out here. The entryway has also another door, but it just makes it a lot smaller than what we would want it to be. So we took that door off too, just to extend it.
Yeah.
But the kitchen door was our major shock because it's so tiny. It's very small in there.
Yeah.
I do tend to burn tortillas a lot, so
Oh,
I didn't want all that
don't
smoke
tell me
in
that.
there.
Yeah,
I'm from California too, man. So
Another shock about the home, I would say, the air conditioning.
yeah.
And not just the home, buildings outside, restaurants. We've had also,
Oh yeah, restaurants.
where you're just sitting down and it could be extremely hot and there's no air conditioner and there's like the kitchen, everything's just happening so close. And so that was a shocker.
What'd you guys do for the summer in terms of trying to get, air?
Fortunately, travel. Fortunately, one of our neighbors was about to move. So we got here in October and he was leaving in the spring. And then he sold me his two AC units. We prioritized to the bedrooms, the air conditioning units.
Yeah.
And then during the summers, our sons, we have teenagers. What they do is we have a game room in the basement and that tends to be the cooler room. So they'll sleep down there.
Both your teenagers go to school on base?
Correct. And then there's two schools on post. There's the elementary school and then there's the second school is a middle school and high school combined.
Mm.
Oh,
So it
okay.
goes from 6th to 12th grade.
There's only 2 schools on base.
Correct. And a CDC.
Wow. Okay. So, how's that been for the guys going to high school in Germany?
I think it's good for our middle school child. We have one middle, one high.
Okay.
So the fact that they're in the same building and they just cross paths and have the same friends has made it very easy for them here.
Our son is into basketball, our oldest, and so after school he meets with his friends at the gym on post, and it's about a 10-minute walk for them. Again, one of the things that some teenagers complain about is that it's so small here, but also the advantage is that it is small, so they get to just walk to the gym and do things around the base and healthy stuff.
Yeah, because the kids can't actually drive there, can they, in high school? Can they drive in Hohenfels?
They can. I think the rule is from home to school, nowhere else.
Oh, really? So they can get their license out here.
They would still have to get their license in the States, and then same as us, and then come and do here.
Okay, yeah, that's the rule that I'm familiar with is you have to have your license, either have it already before you come over here in the States, or you have to go get it in the States and then you can come over here and you can drive. Pauline, are you working right now? Or are you staying at home? What are you doing right now?
I am working right now,
Okay.
and my experience here with work has been kind of difficult. The base is so small that you're limited to job opportunities. There is a lot of spouses here that I've met that have their careers and they cannot get a job in that same career on base. So they do other things just to work.
For example, I think there's spouses that have like college degrees or they're college degrees and they're professors at universities and they can't find obviously work to do. Here, also nurse practitioners.
Yeah. So most of us have started with the Red Cross volunteers, and then just getting our foot in there and meeting people and
Right.
kind of just doing whatever is available.
Yeah, it is tough. It is, it's one of the biggest issues being a spouse overseas is just the employment opportunities. They're just very
And
slim.
I think mainly here too, because the base is very tiny. The clinic is very small. Most of the jobs you'll find, honestly, in USA jobs are everything you can name in the commissary,
Yeah.
the CDC. They have front desk office jobs. I've had to switch to different jobs since I've been here just to get better pay too, because also another thing, the pay is very low,
Yeah.
extremely low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Substitute teaching, that's another big one on
That is a hard one too, because in the States, we're so used to trying new things. Or if you've done like a clerical and your whatever career you're doing and you have the experience and you look for a certain job, here is different. If you don't have a certificate, a degree in that particular thing, they're not willing to train you or give you the job. You have to have that.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, I know that kind of probably bum some people out listening to this, but that's why it's important to like to look at these types of opportunities now, like go online now, see what's available now, right? And
Yeah.
see what you might be interested in doing, right? I've got a video that goes over some of the spouse employment opportunities that I know of that are available out there that you can get into. And another thing is like you don't necessarily have to work when you get there, right? Depending on,
Right.
your rank and that and the budget and kids and all that stuff, you may not necessarily have to work. Like it could be an opportunity for you to go back to school or to
Right.
get a certificate into something that you may want to get into or work on that thing that you need to get prior to going back to the States. You know what I'm saying? So that you're not working, because when you go back to the States, you're going to go and you're going to find something out there. But this may be a good opportunity for you to like get prepared for that, whatever that thing is going to be, There's also opportunities to file for unemployment depending on what state you're coming out of. They can provide you with unemployment for living overseas here. But there's some opportunity. It's not gonna, people need to lower their expectations with regards to spouse employment over here. It was something that I struggled with for sure, and I know a lot of other people do as well. So here's the thing: there are jobs out there that are not on USA Jobs that are out there, but you kind of have to know someone to kind of get in the back door of these jobs and stuff. You know what I mean? So another recommendation that I have is like when you get to the base, get involved with something, right? Find your tribe, find people that you can network with, and you may get your foot in the door of something. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I always say, like join the spouses club. Join the spouses club, meet the people, get to know the base, get to know the tenants of around the base. Red Cross and USO, MWR.
I was going to add that the other part with that is you got to be persistent as a spouse, right? Because sometimes you will apply or you're even for volunteering, like the Red Cross. I think when Pauline volunteered, they were kind of like not really moving on it. And then she called a couple of times and they finally started, processing her. And this is just for her background check, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be persistent. Don't be shy to be calling people and saying, hey, where am I at? What's the status of?
It does take a while.
It takes a while.
It takes a long while.
And then with that said, so say you're trying to be a teacher, right? Start applying well before you come out here. As soon as you find out you're going to come out here, start applying with Dodea, because the process does take a while. And I heard that when you're in the States, it becomes a little easier if you started out there versus starting once you're out here.
Oh yeah, I agree. Get your stuff in there so people can actually see that you're looking for the opportunity,
There are jobs that are not in USA Jobs. Just like any other base, they also have like Building 10 here. It's like the main hub for us.
In processing, building, essentially.
Where you get all the information you could possibly think of. And that's a great place to go in and just say, is there other jobs opportunities with different companies? And they always have flyers. They have things for you to get, because there are other companies that you don't know about that are also hiring with it. And some of those have to be, I believe most of those outside jobs are contractors here.
Yeah.
So something to think about as well.
Something that just kind of comes off the top of my head when you say that is like Culligan. Culligan is a huge one, and they need people to work for them. Mostly Americans are working for that company, it's not just delivering the water, like there's other jobs there than just being a delivery service man or whatever, woman. You know what I mean?
I was going to add that I do know some folks that their spouses work remotely. So that's another opportunity.
Yes.
If you're a spouse that does work remotely, then don't get discouraged by coming to Hohenfels because obviously that's not going to affect you except for the time, right? So if you have to do meetings with folks that are in the East Coast in the US, then you got to plan accordingly, right? So for example, one of the guys that I work with, his spouse does human resources. So her hours are very different from the traditional 9 to 5 that he works here. Based on because she's working on US time kind of.
Right. Well, yeah. And another thing to look into with that is just the taxing too. You need to make sure that your company in the US is willing to support you remotely, number one, and then if
That's a great point.
if there's going to be any like tax issues, let's just put it that way. And that's a whole nother topic. I won't get into that, but we're just kind of jumping all over the place, which is fine. But I want to quickly go into pets. Was that a big issue for you guys coming over? Did you guys use a pet shipper or no, you went to the rotator, right? Pets?
Yeah, because they're small, we were able to transport them ourselves inside the aircraft. And of course, this was in 2022. So we just had a kennel, the soft kennel, and you just put under the seat. The folks in the aircraft, they were super catering to us. So I'm not going to say I pulled my dog completely out of the kennel, but I almost pulled my dog completely out of the kennel and was holding my dog. And I think we took a long nap and nobody said anything. Experiences may differ.
Yeah, for sure. Did you guys take advantage of the pet reimbursement?
We did. We did it when we filed our taxes, actually.
Anything worth mentioning that you had to do in order to get that pet reimbursement on the front end? You know what I mean? Like I've heard people are saying now that you have to put your pets on your orders. Is that true for you?
I don't know because I don't remember I don't think we did that.
We didn't do that.
I don't remember exactly. I just know like there was a 10-day window that we had to have their certificate. Yeah. That's important, especially where we're coming from in Fairbanks. There was only one vet that was able to do that physical in the whole state.
That's crazy. I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I'd love to talk to you guys offline about that because seems gorgeous out there. Travel opportunities. You guys are in. Oh, you're in charge of travel, huh?
She just came back yesterday.
Oh, where'd you go?
Malta.
Oh, nice. How's the weather in Malta in October?
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Beautiful. It's 65, 70s.
Oh, yeah.
But the sun was beaming so hard that it felt like 80s.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Malta.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
That's my travel arm. We had a great time in Malta.
Travel arm.
Yeah. It's an ongoing.
She brings magnets.
Well, I started out with magnets, and then my refrigerator was like, "Yo, dude, we can't take any more."
You've also been here 10 years, so.
Yeah. You travel quite a bit in that time frame. Well, the first 4 years, we thought we were going back home. We always thought because the teachers, when they move out here, they're on a 2-year contract. So every 2 years, they re-up on their contract every 2 years, and we had no reason to leave. We were in San Mateo, Northern California, near San Francisco. Life was good. Money was good. We just got into a new place, a new car, but this opportunity came up, and I had been stationed over in Japan, and I'd learned about the teaching programs as a young lieutenant, single lieutenant. And I just thought to myself, this is the best teaching job in the world. If I ever become a teacher or marry one, we're doing this for sure. So ended up marrying my wife, who was a teacher. Check.
Right on.
And told her about it. So traveling. Okay, so you just got back from Malta. What is on the agenda? What's next? Like, is it easy? Let's start with this. For people that are, because everyone, when they come over here, they're thinking about travel. You have to be thinking about travel, right?
Absolutely.
I would assume that you guys picked that city that you're living in partly because it had a train station there, right?
Yes, 100%.
And do you take that train into like Nuremberg to the airport or into Regensburg? Like, tell me about local travel versus like just traveling out in Europe. Like, what did you guys start with?
Well, we did a little bit of both. So let's talk about the reason to use the train, especially if you're going to drink, right? So you're going to go to a festival, Christmas market, you're going to enjoy the Glühwein, or you don't want to worry about dealing with parking, right? Because us Americans, we drive bigger vehicles, so you don't want to worry about, trying to park your big vehicle and looking for parking first of all. So it's always more convenient to ride the train and then just hop off and start your festivities, whether you're going to a Volksfest or a Christmas market. For us, the 2 first trips are going to be to Regensburg, which is, a 30-minute train ride, or Nuremberg, which is 45. And so from there, I would say probably our next one was probably like Prague, right?
Yeah.
Prague is a 3 hour drive from us.
We just got back from Prague yesterday, actually.
Well, there you go.
And Prague, for us, Prague is only a 2 hour drive from us. And so every time somebody comes into town, they're like, let's go to another country. And we're like, well, Prague is 2 hours away. And I feel like Prague is an underrated city. Like
100%.
Prague is incredible. There's so much to do. Doesn't matter if you're a family or if you're a single person that wants to go out and have a good time. Like it's got everything for you in Prague. It's cheap.
Okay.
It's very affordable compared to the rest of Europe. You know, I love it. The only thing I don't like is, do you guys have a train that goes to Prague or do you drive?
It's not direct, but you can take the train. It's just not direct.
I can get there by car in 2 hours. I can get there by train the fastest in like 3, which is like, that doesn't even make sense.
No, exactly. That's the same for us.
Yeah.
That's why I said the train to Nuremberg or Regensburg, Munich, but beyond that, some of the other places you have to drive to.
So what's on the agenda for the holidays? Any travel opportunity?
Yeah, we're meeting a friend of ours in Paris. You know, but yeah, this summer we went to we hit 3 places. So we went to Greece. We went to 3 islands out there.
Okay.
And then we came back, and then 2 days later, my son had a basketball camp in Vicenza. So the boys and I went down to Vicenza, came back, and then 2 days later we went to London. And we spent the 4th of July in London because, we're petty like that.
Sounds like a tough assignment over there, man.
We're petty. Now, unique thing about some of these trips is that, like, for example, the flights to London are like €35 per person.
Ryanair, Stansted, baby.
Ryanair, exactly. And a lot of the trip, you're going to spend more being at the location than actually getting yourself there. So that's probably where the bulk of your money is going to go to.
Which islands did you guys go to in Greece?
We did Athens first,
To Mykonos,
Naxos, Santorini, and then back to Athens.
I did that exact trip. Yeah, you took like little hops on the boat from Mykonos to yeah.
We spent 2 nights at every location.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which was enough. It was enough.
Yeah, definitely.
2 days.
We go to Greece every summer. I was this close to buying property in Greece. If I didn't I bought a house here in Germany.
Yeah.
Had I known did you guys know about the golden rule over there, where you buy property and you basically get residency and citizenship? You hear about that?
No, I wasn't aware.
Well, we can talk about that. But anyways.
Yeah, travel. I tell Pauline, because I do rotations here, being in Hohenfels, so I always push her, hey, if I'm on rotation, don't feel guilty to travel by yourself. By all means, take advantage of it now while the good is good, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
I took that advice and ran with it.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, that's nice of you, man. I'd be like, no, you can't go if I can't go. I want to know some quick things for the audience here that are listening. What are some of the things that you know now that you wish you would have known before you had arrived?
I would say try to learn a little more German. In the smaller towns, a lot of people don't speak English. Also, when you're driving around, sometimes the words, you don't know what they mean, so that you can be holding up traffic. We were in a parking garage once. We had to learn the hard way what Ausfahrt meant, and that's the exit, right? So, you can correlate that with exit.
Yeah.
I'll let you do the math on that one. But
Right.
Germany's probably one of the cleanest countries I've ever been to in the world, and I've been to a lot of countries.
People are extremely nice.
Yeah, they're not.
They've been nice to us here and there.
Yeah,
They're just very reserved too.
exactly.
So I think them being so reserved, you either may get a hello before you say a hello, or you just might they might put their head down and walk off or something like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly true.
Yeah, my experience has been like they're not mean by not communicating with you. That's just their culture. Like Americans are very like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Hey, like that's how we are. But Germans really, if they don't know you, they don't really need to like start conversations with strangers.
Go out of their way.
You know what I mean? But I think they do warm up to you though after a while. And once you start cracking a beer with them at a festival, you're best friends. You know what I mean?
You're best friend.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and actually we actually hosted a family for Thanksgiving that we met at Oktoberfest.
Oh,
okay. So they were really cool, and they came over and experienced an American holiday with us.
They never had a Thanksgiving before?
No.
That's amazing.
They said that's a lot of food just for us.
Mm-hmm.
The best part about Thanksgiving is leftovers. Everybody knows that. Come on.
Yeah, we had to teach them that concept because I think they thought we were just supposed to eat it all in one night. I'm like, no, we eat this we eat it throughout the week.
Yeah, throughout the week. Yeah, we make sandwiches like with the stuffing and like with sprouts and cranberry and like cream
Oh
cheese.
yeah.
Like, we do it all. So I would assume then that would kind of be. I was gonna ask like what's your a good culture shock story that you guys have. You already kind of give me a couple of them, but unless you want, if there's any specific ones.
Can I just add for those speaking families out there, a lot of the Germans here speak Spanish.
Oh.
So that was a shocker for me, going to the bakery and having a very small conversation with my child, just saying a few words. And the lady just happened to know, and she told me herself, there's a few of us here that are well spoken in Spanish. So try it. And we've met a few people, and had conversations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Spain is very close, and what a lot of people don't realize, Americans don't realize, is when you come to Europe, like going to another country is just like going to another state in the United States. Like it's, people are going in and out of these countries all the time. So there's probably a lot of Spanish influence and culture that come over here in this area, you know what I mean? And that kind of gets sprinkled around. Plus, the Germans, unlike Americans, are very good at learning another language when they're young,
Yeah.
Yes. Teenagers can easily know, their native language, English, a little bit of English for sure, and then another language on top of that. So chances of them knowing Spanish actually might be pretty good.
I would say another shock for me, a couple would be security. I've never felt threatened ever anywhere I've been at. And then the other part is that drinking is not a taboo here. So if my teenager so happened to order a beer at a restaurant, I've never seen somebody get carded. That's all he has said.
No.
So yeah, it's very common.
Yeah, I've never had that happen either. I actually remember one of the biggest culture shocks I had coming over here. I went to a nightclub one time when we first got here, and I was waiting at the bar to get my drink from the guy, or to order my drink. And this kid, he looked like he was 13. He kind of like went in front of me and cut me off and got a beer. And I couldn't even be mad. I was like, dude, how old are you? And he was like 16. I was crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just different.
Fast food also, it's really good out here. We don't really eat fast food, but like when we first got here, we ate McDonald's and the service was good, or at least every time we've gone, the service up there is good. We were impressed. That's the only thing that's open on Sundays. Culture shock Sundays, everything's closed, right? So that's been something to get used to.
Yeah.
Something else I want to ask about in terms of getting used to. You live in a rural area, and I know how, and so do I kind of, but I want to know about local resources in the Hohenfels area. Has it been difficult trying to find like, pet groomers and dog sitters and auto mechanics and, a hairdresser, just little things that you need off base?
Yeah.
Good point.
I think for us girls trying to get our nails, hair, all that, it's very hard to get appointments here. They're always booked. There's always a holiday. They're closed for some reason. So you have to go farther and farther away from where you are to get appointments. So that's been an issue here. With our pets as well, it's very difficult to get appointments for grooming. We try to stick with one person that we get and book for our next one, because if you don't, you miss out on whenever you're available to do it. Yeah.
Don't let me forget, but in this description, so I have a cheat sheet for every base in Germany. And basically what it is I talk to spouses and say, hey, look, these are all the industries of local resources off base. Give me your top 3, you know what I mean? Best restaurant, someone that does your nails, a chiropractor, health and beauty, all these different things. I've got one for Hohenfels. I'm going to send that. So I'm going to put that in the description so that other people come into Hohenfels could actually look at that and say, oh, here's a source for an auto mechanic or whatever it is. But I also going to send that to you guys. If you guys can like help me, I've got like an Excel spreadsheet. If you know like of just another, recommendation, just if you can just write in the name in that Excel spreadsheet, and then I'll put all the other information like the address and the phone number and the email if they have one. That would be super helpful.
Definitely. In fact, one of the spouses just recommended, and if you don't mind the drive out to get a cheaper price, nail, hair, all that, she literally said, Prague is your...
Prague. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
There's a town out there. I haven't been yet. I just got told, which I was like, how didn't I know this before? Yep.
Cheb, yeah.
Where it's extremely cheap. You can find it all there. One stop.
Yeah, I did a video on it. They've also got like a flea market there that's got pretty much everything you need. Cheap. You can bargain. You just...
No, yeah. nails here can cost you 120 euro, depending on what you want, mani-pedi, but apparently out there you could get it for 35 euro.
Way cheaper. Yeah, you can. And it's actually kind of fun. I've got a, I'm gonna put that in the description as well. I've got a couple of videos, like on your way there, there's a really, really beautiful castle that, not a castle, a church that you have to go check out. They've got skeletons, old relics that are in the church. It's crazy. So anyways, I'll put that on there, and then that's on your way to Cheb. You have to go past that church. So then people that want to learn about Cheb, they can look at that video too. But my wife goes there from time to time. I've been over there with her. I've bought jackets over there. I've got a wolfskin jacket that's great that I got for $30, 30 euro.
Yeah.
A great wintertime jacket. It's thick. You would never know that it's a knockoff. If it is, I don't even know, but it was 30 bucks.
It doesn't matter. It keeps you warm.
Yeah. Add another culture shock. Cash.
Oh yeah.
Cash is a big thing here. Yeah.
Have
So
coins.
we went to London. I don't think I actually saw the British pound out there, but over here in Germany it's 50-50, and it's your best bet is to always carry cash with you. And then you want to talk about the coins, love?
Yeah, having coins in hand. We're not used to having coins. Always it's like credit card, pay, you're done. But having coins here, having change for bathrooms, because you might be in a line and you need your euro, you need your 50, just to get in there.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal here.
Yeah. And one of the things that I'll just mention about that, a lot of my friends and family will come over here and they're like, why do I have to pay money to go to the bathroom? And I'm like, usually when you pay money, that means that they're cleaning it.
Yeah.
100%. And they're making sure that it's not disgusting when you walk in there, And that's the case for most places in Europe, when you have to pay money, not just Germany. So that could be one of the things, but that's something you just got to get used to. Like you need to carry coins if you're going to go to the bathroom.
Oh
yeah. I would recommend that you carry 100 euros on you at least at all times, because sometimes you might go to a town and then they have like a setup little stands where they're selling cheeses or bread or things, and you don't want to be tempted. Just buy it and take it home. It's their own work, so you're buying it from the person who harvested or grew it themselves.
Yeah, that actually kind of reminds me to ask you guys: are you guys shopping more off base at like more local?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And
so much fresher.
We wouldn't have it another way.
I think buying at the commissary here, food kind of goes to waste faster.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It won't last in the fridge. It won't last in the weather here, the houses. It just either molds faster. It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Really.
Same with over here. I encourage people to go. There's only a couple things that I will go at the commissary to get. I found that avocados are a little bit better at the commissary because the Edeka that's closest to us doesn't normally have as many there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll get like avocados there.
That's a good point.
We'll get different things, but like all the dairy stuff and
vegetables. They have great options outside. It's
great.
It's awesome.
They last longer. Yeah, I love it.
Price as well, right? Like eggs, you can get the egg.
We have a farm here, something that most people don't have in the States. They don't have in the States, where they have those self-serve,
self-checkout. But there's nobody manning that at all.
You go into Huts, they have eggs, cheese, milk, butter, oils, potatoes, all that with a little basket. You go do your shopping, you do your calculation, you pay. They're watching you through a camera.
Maybe.
But they're there. So it's all integrity when it comes to like paying and doing that. But it's awesome.
Germany is very honest with
very.
Yeah,
very.
100%.
Which is good though. That's a really good thing.
It is.
That's another example of that is like the gas station. You pump and then you go
right there.
In the States.
No.
Especially,
we say that all the time.
Especially in Southern California.
No, hell no. Southern California. Yeah. That's I'm very aware of that. Okay. Well, look, we've gone over quite a bit here, guys. I would assume, my last question is, do you like Germany? Why or why not? It sounds like you guys like that area. Do you have any other advice for people coming into the Hohenfels area that may be a little nervous, stressed out, maybe thinking it's, not the German city that they want to live in? Like, any advice for people?
Yeah, first of all, I would say, I'm going to speak for me. I love Germany. Like I said, if I didn't have a kid that's going to go to college next year, then I'd have no reason to go back either. However, I will say that the weather is the one thing that I don't like. I need a little more sun in my life. But beyond that, everything's excellent. What would I tell somebody who's coming here? Immerse yourself into the culture, immerse yourself into what Germany has to offer. Like I said, there's the Christmas markets that are in the surrounding area during the holidays. There's the Volksfest in the summer. Usually some towns will have a random event that they're celebrating. So immerse yourself in the culture, immerse yourself in the activities in the base with the spouses. I'm not saying, have everybody there be your best friend, but definitely, sometimes spouses help take care of your pets, or they can tell you, hey, go to this groomer.
Yeah.
Come with an open mind, and it'll be fun.
Okay, cool. Pauline,
I love
anything?
it. I love it. That's all I have to say. I love it. I love the traveling. It's so easy to do. Get out there. There's so many apps available as well for hiking, for restrooms, for anything you can possibly think of. So yeah, it's just searching and talking to people and getting information.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. You're helping out a lot of incoming families, and yeah, I'll get this out as soon as I can. All right.
Thank you.
All
Thank you for
right.
having us.